Welcome back, Generals, to another Let's Fix Generals 0 Hour to make the best game ever. And another workday is starting. Yeah. Let's see. Improve efficiency in game message. Okay, let me see that. Check if case X, return X. Case X, return. Check if. Yeah. I wonder, instead of the switch case, why not create a array? Type, let's see, is there a count at the end? Yeah, there is. How about instead of how can we guarantee order? If we build an array, then the only danger is that the array order is out of sync with the enum order, right? Well, I mean, this function here could be made const expr, right? This here. Well, no, because of this. It would have to return a const char pointer to be const expr. Yeah, but that's possible. I guess it's fine for now. Maybe. Should we perhaps also post an assert here? Maybe not. maybe as a follow-up change, we can also make this return const char and make it, and then make it a const expr function, a const expr function. Yeah, but that won't help because we probably look up these guys. How do we look these up? Yeah, we're looking these up with, yeah, so it can't be const expr. Let me just ask here, would there perhaps be a way to set up this? There perhaps be a way to set up an array with names without having too much risk of order issues. Perhaps be a way to set an array with names instead of switch case. Looks correct. Okay. All right. Okay, let's take a look at this one here. Again, fix RMB scrolling. Fix RMB scrolling. Hold on. Then we build that. Movie 0. Oh, what is this? Oof. Yeah, looks solid. Fantastic. Okay, so we will launch the original game for comparison and this game. Okay, so this is the original, and this is now the one with the change. Oh, it's debugger, that's fine. Okay, so scroll speed. Oof. I don't know why resolution changed now, it's weird. Oof. Okay, so we go to the Skirmish, yeah, Tournament Island, why not? Okay, play game. Okay, so we're at 30 FPS. Yeah. Textures look a bit washed. Huh. Okay, so feels very, very similar. Okay, let's go to 60 FPS. We'd have to double that about. Okay. Okay. Huh. Why is that changing to 800 by 600? Ah, because we click default. That's why. Why does default change it to 800 by 600? The resolution. That's kind of stupid, isn't it? Changing the resolution and detail to default. To me, it feels like resolution should not be a default setting, right? Hey, what is this? Why is resolution defaulted? Okay, let me go to scroll scaling factor. Okay, so it adds 50 points here. Okay, let's set that to 0. So this is significantly slower. It certainly is much, much slower. Let me go back to 30 FPS. So I'm testing right now the relation between the arrow scroll speed and the right mouse button scroll speed. Like how this compares, because I think it makes sense that they are somewhat similar in ways. I mean, it's hard to like find an exact point because the right mouse button, it really depends on how far you drag your mouse. Whereas the arrow keys is just one speed, single speed drive. It's still pretty fast. Let me think. It's a bit of a design decision here, isn't it? So if we make the full here, so this is the same, yeah. And here this is faster. Right, scroll speed doesn't apply here, right? Right. I think without the scaler, the speed relationship between the right mouse button scrolling and the arrow keys is a bit better. It's the speed discrepancy is not as large. Here in the original, like you move so fast with the right mouse button, but you move so much slower with the arrow keys. Right? And in that regard, I find this a bit more natural because the speeds is very similar. I tested with this, and I think I already commented this now. The scroll bar was up to 144, 0.72. I tested more, and the relationship of arrow key scrolling and RMB scrolling is better with the relationship is better with scroll factor equals 0. So that applies to 0.5, 0.5. Keyboard scroll factor 0.5. Okay. Okay, so applies Min, max. Okay, so it starts with 50%. Where do we set the cap of the scrolling? Let me open global data. Huh? Yeah. Huh? Wasn't it called global ini? Game data ini. There we go. Keyboards. 2 maximum. 2. Why is this 2? Keyboard scroll speed factor. Okay. Okay, how about we put a breakpoint in this? To me, it's really confusing here, this code. I don't see, like, what is the min-max of the slider? Like, I don't see this code somehow. It must be somewhere, but clearly I'm not seeing it. Okay, so let's put a breakpoint here. It's not hitting. Why not? Because we're not attached. Okay, so scroll speed is 0.5. Fair enough. Fair enough. It's interesting because the slider is not at 50%. Okay, so if we go here, what does this say then? Oh. Then it is 1.45. Why? Okay. Where do we set this maximum? Where is this coming from? Let's search for 1.45. Not found. 1.44. Let's search for 144. Let's search for 145. Okay, I don't know what I'm looking for. Yeah. So the question is, how does this clamp to this maximum? Where do we define that? There's a clamping here. Somehow. So here it clamps from 0 to 100 or 0 to 1. But how do we get to 1.45 then? If the maximum is supposed to be 100, what is this? Set scroll speed with slider. I really have no clue where this shit is. Is it coming from here? I mean, let's put a breakpoint here. Let's see what that is. There you go, 135. Yeah. Okay. It's coming from this thing. Okay. Then how maybe it's a setting in here. Let's search for this. Oh. The max value, the scroll range, the scroll slider range, man, is defined in the data. I don't know why he came to 144. That's not correct. Okay, we know where it is. It's here. Okay, well. Yeah. Okay. Override any values with user preferences. When does this happen? Pass game data. Pass game data. Could it be that this is a bug here? So right now we have set a pretty high value. 145, right? So if we restart the game now, then it goes here into the option preferences and it will find it and it will clamp it. Huh. So if you restart the game, it will clamp it. That's stupid. That's stupid. Oh. So you can set the scroll factor to 0. Okay. It's a bit small, isn't it? If you set it to 0, you can't scroll anymore, right? Okay, so I mean, it's scroll factor of 0 makes no sense, right? That's stupid. So that should probably be 1. And this doesn't make sense because the slider is larger. It goes to 145. Oof. How do we do with this? The intention probably was, how's it in generals? Oh, there's none in generals. Maybe. It's not in the filter. If we, that's a good question. So if we remove this limit here, so we don't cap the upside, right? We don't cap the upside. Let's go to, let's go to our options in here. Here, it will be options for instance 2, right? Okay, so the scroll factor right now is max. Yeah. And we now launch the game. Yeah. Okay. then the factor right now is 145, and we don't clamp it, so it actually will now correctly. Oh, it's 0 to. No, it's 1.45 now. Okay, that meets our expectation. Good. And now the question is, if we go, it comes the second time. Look at that. It's 2 for some reason. Why is it 2 now? Now it's 1.45 again. It's loading again. How often is this loading this? Jesus Christ. Okay, so we have 145. Now, if we go to the options menu and we change any setting here, like let's say we change the music volume, yeah? And we press accept, then what happens? 145. Okay, good. Now let's say I now go in here and I change this to 200. Yeah. And now I change the music volume and I press accept. What happens? It clamps it at 145. Oof, that's a pity, isn't it? Yeah. Oof. This is a bit of a problem, isn't it? Yeah. 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 The clamping to 100 would make sense if we really assume that this is our range. Maybe. I wonder what we can do. That we can salvage this somehow. Maybe. I think. Yeah, so it's data that sets max speed. What we could do is we could misappropriate the range to clamp it from 0 to 100, but probably don't want to do that. No. No, I think it's fine that the data dries it, but it means, yeah, we just can't. Yeah, okay, so the only issue I'm seeing is that if we write into our options file like a high scroll speed, the game would use it, but it would clamp it according to the slider position, right? Yeah. But only if we go into the menu and modify it once, right? Ugh. 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 Mm. I think the way we should handle it is that we just allow any high values. Yeah, I don't see a good solution here. Yeah, don't see a good solution. Super hackers at tweak. Do not tweak the upper cap. No longer caps the upper limit to 100 because the options menu slider can go beyond that value. Can go beyond that. I can make them online. Caps the lower limits. No longer caps the lower limit to 0 because that means standstill. Because the options slider goes beyond that. Let's say can go. Say option setting. Okay, anyway, so what this allows us to do now is use the high setting, yeah. 200s. Okay. So now you have clamped it to 200s. But if we now go to the options menu here, oh wow, it doesn't even show. If it's 200, then the bar is nothing is selected. Okay. Okay. Okay, so now we have the fastest scrolling. Which is okay. Could be faster, but okay, so if you go to default 50. How does it set a default for the slider then? Ah, it's probably set on the slider. Gadget slider. Maybe we can say so this initializes the slider position. Maybe. We can say, let's test the following. We say if can we get the range of the slider somehow? Slider. Get min max. There you go. Okay, so we have slider scroll speed here. And then we can say int min max. Yeah. Say int Scroll min. Scroll max. Then we say if scroll pause is larger equals scroll min and scroll pause is smaller equals scroll max, then we set the position, scroll speed. Now if scroll pause is larger equals scroll min, scroll pause smaller equals scroll max. Yeah, so if we have this condition, then we can set this slider position. And so I do wonder if by default it will have -1 then. Okay, that we can test. Yeah, let's put a breakpoint here. Let's de-optimize this code. Pragma optimize. And set position, scroll pause. I can probably remove this here. Okay. Hold on. What function is this? Set defaults. Right. Okay. Set defaults. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. And then we need a breakpoint here. Okay. Now I'm curious. If we go back to this file and we set scroll factor 200, yeah. Essentially, we want to go into a scenario where we can set this outrageous range, and then the slider will simply not be modified, right? Which would be fair. Basically, yeah, we put like 1 million. Yeah, outrageous number. It doesn't matter. It's up to the user, right? Okay, so there we go. So we have 200 currently. The min is 10, max is 145. Yes, we know this. And so our scroll is not in this range, so it skips that. And then it puts a lock here. Okay, whatever. Okay. And now, okay, so this one is gray. Yeah, okay. Let me take a screenshot of that. Okay, now if we click on, let's change an option here. We click on accept. What happens now? It's 0. Oof, 0. Why does it ask for -1 then here? -1. Is that returning -1 when it can't find it? How about we say it must be larger than 0? That should work, right? Larger than 0. Let's try that. That's quite interesting, isn't it? Okay, so we don't set the slider position, so it will default to 0 now. And so we see it's at 0. Yeah. And what we do is we 0. And then we say and then we say we change the music volume, and then we click accept. And then this one is 0, and so we don't change it. Fantastic. So the scroll speed remains at 200. Okay, that works. And now only if we move the slider in here and we accept, then we will get a value like 94, for example, and then it changes the scroll factor. Okay, that is fantastic. That is fantastic. Yes. Okay, what this allows us to do now is that we can go into our options ini, and we can set like 300, for example. Right? We really want to go overboard. Oops. And so we are no longer reliant on the options menu giving us a reasonable range, right? Like we can set our own, right? Yeah. So if we say like 145 right now is too little, we don't care. We just set 300, 500, 1,000, 1 million, doesn't matter, right? And then you can go ahead and scroll fast. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's pretty solid. Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah. It's pretty fast. Yeah, I have to say I like this relationship better. I tested more, and the relationship of arrow key scroll and is better with scroll factor 0, aka no modification of the value to try match retail behavior. The relationship of arrow key scroll and RB is better with scroll factor equals 0, aka no modification of the value to try match the retail speeds. The problem with scroll factor equals 50 is that RMB scroll is so much faster than arrow key scroll. It is what do you think about this? Okay, now I think it's relevant that we get this change in. Yeah. Okay, let's add a comment here. Here. Super hackers at tweak. No longer set a slider. No longer set a slider position if the so maybe an author 11/07/2025 no longer sets the slider position if no longer sets the slider position if the user setting is beyond is set beyond the slider boundaries. Reason being, well, let's say this makes custom settings. This allows the user to set custom scroll speeds to no longer sets the slider position if the user setting is set beyond the slider boundaries. This gives the user more freedom to customize. No longer sets the slider position if the user settings no longer sets the slider if the user settings gives the user more freedom to customize the scroll speed. The slider value remains 0. Okay. Okay. Tweak. That would mean stand still. I wonder if we really need to document this. I mean, it kind of makes sense to maybe clarify why it shouldn't go to 0. Although, if someone just uses a few seconds to think about it, it should be kind of obvious, but considering EA shipped it with 0, looks like there was no consideration there. So maybe we should mention it, because apparently even EA can't figure it out. Same with a 100 limit. Yeah, I guess. Okay, yeah. Maybe also add author up here. Yeah, to me, like this, it's not so much worth documenting. I don't know. Like it could be removed. I'm not sure, but maybe someone needs this additional information. Okay, then I will reset this. Okay, then I will stash this change. I will go to main branch. and with stash pop. And then I will create a branch. And then I will do a fix scroll speed option. It's called min max, scroll speed min max. Okay. Okay, and then we say ZH unlock scroll speed fix and unlock scroll speed boundaries. Fix and lift. Fix and lift. Let's say fix and remove scroll speed boundaries. Fix and remove upper and lower scroll speed boundaries. Fix. Fix and remove min max scroll speed boundaries. Fix and remove upper, lower, and upper scroll speed boundaries. Fix and remove. Fix and remove lower and upper scroll speed boundaries. Fix and remove lower and upper scroll speed boundaries. Okay, then this will be gen, this will be to do, and the generals, replicate in generals. So this is GUI, yeah, well, I would say it's bug, minor. We can call it GUI bug, yeah. Gen ZH. This change fixes and removes the lower and upper scroll speed boundaries. In some, when reading scroll speed from options.ini, min scroll speed is no longer is now 1 instead of 0. Max scroll speed is uncapped instead of 100. Allows when using scroll speed slider in options menu, 100 was less. Let me just say 1, 2, 3. When using scroll speed slider and options menu, scroll speed slider no longer overrides the setting scroll speed slider no longer overrides the setting in the options.ini if it is not set to a valid range 10 to 145. The scroll speed slider no longer overrides the setting in the options ini. The scroll factor to a, let's say, recognized range. It's now uncapped. This means that the scroll factor above 100 is no longer lost on game restarts, and the user can set any scroll speed he likes. The slider range is defined in the options menu .wnd. data. Okay. Reviewers. Okay. Okay, cool. Then I have put my latest thoughts on this one. Yeah, I think I'm fond of removing the scroll factor of 50 addition there, because long term it's undesired, short term it's maybe desired. But I would say, given that the user can, with this change, can customize the upper scroll speed without any boundaries, he can go as fast as he likes. And I think it's more important that the relationship between the arrow key or edge scrolling is similar to the right mouse button scroll. Because if the right mouse button scroll is so much faster, then like they don't combine well, right? So I think it's better if they are somewhat similar in speed, right? So in the original, this movement is much slower, and this is very fast. Yeah. Okay, that's my thought on this. Good. All right. For what purpose? Well, for optimization. Will the jump table be optimal? Good. Then add string truncation to replace repeated calls to remove last char. This I reviewed yesterday. This one I just looked at. This one is a draft. This one is for OmniBlade. Yeah. This one is a draft. Can we hide all the drafts? PR. Is open. Is there something like is active? Is, I don't know. Okay, this one is ready to merge actually. Maybe we should say from. Yeah, I think it's fine. Okay. Perfect. Okay, I guess we can look at this next here. Yeah. Added 4 runs with several replays. That's not much gain. 6 seconds and 15 seconds. No, there are 2 files. File and a file. What? Okay, so the question I have, is this file still used then or not? Let me see that. This one. Yeah, Mauler. Okay. Monkey on. Good. So what I'm interested in here, this is this file still used or not? This one. Let's see. It is. Log. It's used for logging. Used for logging. Stop recording. It's used for writing the recording. Do these two perhaps make sense as a union? I mean, there's just one recorder. I think that doesn't matter. I suspect perhaps clarify that one is for playback and the other for recording. Log game starts. Where do we open the file? Here. Record. F open. It's lowercase file.h. Great name. File.h. Okay. Okay, and where does it use the RAM file thingy? Here. Convert to RAM file. Is it really necessary to assign it like this? Oof. How do I go to this function? Jesus. There we go. Return this. Return RAM file. Return RAM, new instance. Convert to RAM file. Why is it so complicated here? Strange. I think there is a class. We have a file PTR, I think. File PTR. No? I thought we had that. Here, file auto PTR. Oh no, that's in wwlib. File PTR. I think file ref. File ref. Ref file. No. I thought we had such a thing. Maybe it was only in Thyme. Reads. For playback. If not, header for playback. Can we make this configurable somehow? This means that replay playback loses the ability for streaming. This reading a replay while it is being written to. Yeah. Does it set delete on close? Delete on close. Yeah. Look file. Is this default true? Or? It's false by default. Huh. That's interesting. If we open a local file, then what? Local file. Let me search for file star. Oh shit. Open file. Let's go into open file. Delete and close. Open file. Okay, so it does set it here. Okay. So it calls this one here. Open file. This can be simplified here. Like this here could be moved up here, and then you can remove these two, and you can remove this else branch. Ah no, you still need to call close, but then you can remove this here. Yeah. Okay. I was hoping for more performance gains, but what Helmut measured does not look that exciting. Could still take this change because it is technically an improvement. Okay. This one needs a review. me ping Sky Arrow. When do you think I mean, I don't want to put it on anyone. Let me just say I need this really at place. Okay. Okay, this one is still a draft. This one we looked at yesterday and there's still work to do. This is my change and I think I responded to everything. Yeah. Resolve conflicts. Oh. There are conflicts. Okay, let's solve these. Okay. Because we removed RTS and Turner. Right. Oof. 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 Let me do an abort rebase. How about we merge into this instead? Let me see. Yeah, let's do a merge here this time. Yeah. Okay. Conflicts. Okay. Okay, so here we have we had already removed this RTS stuff. Yeah. Did we? Yeah. Okay, so here we can simply take this. Done. And here we can, oof. Okay, I would say we We remove it, yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. I think that will do. Okay, let's double check game version CPP. Where is it? Oh boy. Maybe we can search for it here. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Did we replicate it to general sets? We did not. Okay. Okay, fair enough. Okay, commits. Okay, let's see if that compiles. Let me see if there's no RTS internal somehow surviving. Yeah. Okay, that compiles. Fantastic. Let's do one more search. So I don't know if that one succeeded there. Looks fine. Okay. Cool. Then we can push this. Let me poke OmniBlades. OmniBlades. Can you please continue review of that? Coconut monkey on. Yeah. RTS internal stuff matched. Okay. Okay, here we have drafts. Unblock keyboard inputs. This one is approved. Okay. That's good. That's what he meant here. Thank you, sir. Okay. Okay, it's already replicated in generals. Yeah. Does it have merge conflicts? Yes, it does. It does have a lot of merge conflicts. Oh boy. Okay. Because it touches many lines with RTS internal. That's why. Okay, yeah, we need to resolve those conflicts. How about we do that next session? Yeah. One way to do it is with macro unrolling. Let me go to ChatGPT. can you give a C++ code sample for macro unrolling using for macro unrolling for generating an enum and an array of names for the enums with macro unrolling. Can you give a C++ code sample for generating an enum and an array of names enum names? Let's say array of names for the enum values with macro generating an enum and an array of names for the enum. Say an enum with values and an array of names for the enum values with macro unrolling. Let's see if we can do it. Color enum lists. Yeah. Color count. Color names. Color enum lists. Name. Can you make color enum lists take arguments? Take an argument instead of X name. Can we change color enum lists in a way that it can take an argument instead of expecting X? Macro, yeah. Yeah, that's what I picture. One way to do is macro unrolling. I asked ChatGPT to generate a sample. Let me copy. Can maybe copy. Sample to get started. It has distinct advantages. It uses macros It relies heavily on macros, but it does have benefits of correctness. For code correctness. ChatGPT. ChatGPT. Yeah, so we have the color enum list, macro, red, green, blue, blah, blah. Generate enum, generate string. Use the list to generate enum and name array. Enum color, color count, generate string. Let me ask: is there a way to do this unrolling without macros in modern C++20? Yes. Let's see. But this relies on the order being put in correctly here, right? But this requires that the order of the array is in sync with the enum values. How do we guarantee that? Excellent point. Exactly right. Blah blah. Save enum to name mapping. Oof. To list enum values. I'm fine with this solution because the benefit is that it generates correct code, right? So it is a bit harder to read and it's harder to like see the enum value because you need to imply it from here, right? So that's not so nice, but it just works. So it's if someone understands how this works, it's easy. But yeah, you can't like jump to this enum and search for it. It's like you have to, yeah, you have to like imply it from here, like color and then this, right? So yeah, it's a bit counterintuitive, but it works. No, no. Good. All right, I think I will take a break here. Has been 2 hours 40, close-ish. Good. We made some progress. We did a little bit of reviewing. We created a change to unlock scroll speed in the options menu and with options ini for those that really want those crazy speeds. Yeah. So that's good. And we did some reviewing and some testing, and we merged one change. Okay, the next session we update these two here, the word builder issues, and merge these as well. And then maybe some more reviewing. We'll see. Good. Then I wish you a great day or night. Until next time. Goodbye.